Hi, thanks for being here. I try not to do this, but I checked my subscriber count today. I saw 4 new subscribers in one day, and I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it. That's huge for me. I've never had 4 people come in one day. Never had that happen. So thank you, whoever you are. That was amazing. I feel like this is a new era in my life. And thank you for being here for that in your own way. Might sound weird, but yeah. So, this is the evening time video. I do the daytime where I'm, I guess, bubblier. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I'm bubbly and other times I'm like super dry. I don't know. I fluctuate a lot, I guess. There's different mood phases and stuff, but I really love doing this. I'm having a blast. Even if I seem kind of dry and whatever at times, but yeah. So this is the chill nighttime video. My son is going to bed on the other side of this wall, so I can't talk too loud. Um, but I wanted to make a video about where's my lighter? I wanted to make a video about Jupiter going into Leo. And the irony is that I can't find my lighter right now as I'm talking. What in the heck? Have to have candles. I don't know why, but what the heck? I just had a candle lit today. Hold up. I had to run downstairs. I sprinted. No, I didn't. But I had to grab a lighter. Okay. Jupiter and Leo. What is going on with that? We're gonna explore. Before I start, I want to say these are my interpretations. Um, take it with a grain of salt. Kind of like when you hear a song on the radio and it's probably random, but it doesn't feel random. I was thinking about this today. That's what I'd like this to be. I don't want this channel to be like, oh, everything I'm saying is so true and everything I'm saying is telling anybody what to do. This is like a symbolic resonance to get our symbolic minds going again. So I was thinking this is not gonna like I was thinking today I want this channel to be kind of like that song on the radio that comes on at a very specific time where sometimes the words match what's going on. That's what I feel like the point should be. So take what resonates and ditch the rest. It's a very common phrase in this sphere of YouTube, but I mean it. Like if it's the wrong song, change the channel. You don't have to make everything fit. Okay, we're gonna just see what resonates. So, oh, that's bright. The screen is really highlighting a lot of. Ooh, okay. Jupiter in Leo. We're leaving the Jupiter Cancer cycle behind. So, in order to understand an ingress is when a planet goes from one sign to the next. It starts at 0 in the next sign. What I like to do when I'm looking at an ingress is look at the signs in order. So, to understand where we're going, we have to look back at what the previous sign is about. So, it's like a contrast thing. So, to understand Jupiter in Leo, we have to look at the sign of Cancer. What may we have learned with Jupiter in Cancer? It was about magnifying subjective experience and cultivating a home within ourselves where we realize that blessings can come from within. It could have been a time for positive growth on an emotional level and stabilizing. Jupiter likes to cushion things. Jupiter likes to make things feel happier, more optimistic. So, a lot of us with Jupiter in Cancer, we may have faced some scary things emotionally so that we can cultivate our inner self. So, a lot of this may have come through magnification of certain past wounds. But the cool thing about Jupiter is that even though our wounds may have been magnified, Jupiter has this way of making you feel like maybe I can do this again. Maybe I can get past this. Maybe if I try to be excited about this thing again that we feel has failed before, that's what I feel like Jupiter in Cancer was, the past, because Cancer is the past. Jupiter has a way of giving us faith in new outcomes. So I will say that happened for me. Like, I was never going to share my insights ever again. I had decided I have nothing to say. I just accept that. I accepted that I have nothing to say because in the past I focused on nobody's listening to me. So why should I bother? But something happened to me during this Jupiter and Cancer cycle where I felt like, what if? What if it's different this time? Why can't I just dream again? Jupiter is the optimism and faith restored. So Jupiter in Cancer was restoring faith in the inner self, where it's this feeling of, well, I can be safe in myself. If I can't be safe in the real world, quote unquote, the real world, the outer world, I can be safe in myself. So maybe a lot of us learned how to do that. Maybe a lot of us learned how to heal conditioning or heal certain emotional patterns that would keep us from expanding, that would keep us in kind of frozen, you know? Because that's Cancer energy too. It freezes because it feels unsafe. When Cancer energy freezes, it's because it feels unsafe. It goes into protection mode. So through this Jupiter and Cancer cycle, we may have learned how to protect ourselves, how to be our own nurturer is really what it was about. Learning how to nurture ourselves, which sounds really basic and super cliche, but it's fundamental. So, what will Jupiter and Leo bring if we've already laid the groundwork for healing the emotions so that they stop freezing us? Then it's time to go out and play, basically, in the outer world. Because we have the ability to build a sense of safety within, now we can go out and play and be seen. And I had a phrase pop in the other day when I was thinking about Jupiter in Leo. Jupiter in Cancer is magnifying who we've had to be because of burdens, emotional burdens, like stuff we take on, who we've had to be because of conditioning, who we've had to be because of emotional coping styles, coping mechanisms. Jupiter in Leo now is the opportunity to be who we want to be. We can detach from all the emotional magnification and choose what and how we want to express. So Jupiter is going to reward expression if it's coming from a place of having a solid inner foundation. And Jupiter in Leo, it's about the individual experience fundamentally. Like, what are the things that make us individuals? How can we expand past the group sort of energy? Because Leo is the individual, it's who we are away from the herd, essentially. So I'm going to look through my notes. So I want to go back to this concept of Jupiter in Cancer being who we feel we have to be versus Jupiter in Leo being who we would choose to be or who we'd want to be. That's the core difference. So Jupiter, where am I going? Where was it? Where was it? Oh, it's about being excited about the self. I feel like a lot of there's a lot of things preventing us from being excited about experiencing the self. So Jupiter in Leo is about holy bagoli. I'm excited to just experience my individuality. A lot of us feel guilt, like, oh, we're narcissistic or we're selfish if we get excited about experiencing ourselves. This is a different level of experiencing the self. It's philosophical, it's deep. Um, I don't know how to explain how it feels when I tap into it. It's a very sacred expression of self that might be coming forward now, where we can learn the separation between ego and individuality and self. So it's also a brand new cycle of self-worth because Leo is about this is mine. That's Leo energy. I create this. I've created this. It's mine. And it's valid even if it stands alone. And it's worthy of being seen. So it's all about being excited to be in us. Does that make sense? It sounds really weird, kind of creepy, but I don't know how else to explain it. I'm going to read some of my notes because it's easier at times. Let's see. Through Jupiter in Cancer, we've hopefully gained some wisdom about security, protection, and what we've been building behind closed doors away from a sense of approval. That's Cancer. Jupiter helped us expand who we are without being validated in a lot of ways. Now, with Jupiter in Leo, Jupy is going to push us to feel worthy of being seen because that's Leo. It's all about being seen. It's interesting, the conundrum with Leo. It's about being seen, but the trap is also needing validation. Not that Leo needs validation. That's also hard to explain. Leo doesn't really represent validation unless it's the shadow side of the ego. Okay. It's tricky. It's the stage. um yeah, let me keep going with these notes. Jupiter in Cancer taught us that emotional fulfillment should often be the goal in many of our pursuits, despite who is watching and giving or not giving us praise. Cancer is the caretaker archetype, and it focuses on the emotional center from which everything stems out. So we may have learned everything starts from within, which is a very cliche spiritual epithet. Is that the word? No. A very cliche spiritual teaching that those in the manifestation circles will teach, which I believe in manifesting for sure. I do. I kind of believe you have to also be on God's timeline. You can't just, well, maybe you can, I don't know. I feel like you have to co-collaborate with God, right? And I don't mean God in a religious sense at all. I'm not religious. I accept all religions. Anyway, they teach in the manifestation circles that everything starts from within. And I feel like Jupiter in Cancer could have got us in touch with that, whatever is true within that. So that's deeper meaning attached to the home within. We learn how to nurture ourselves behind the scenes, and some of us may now understand that everything happens from the home of the subconscious self before it can even reach out into the external. So that's also realizing when we limit ourselves based on subjectivity. The view was bothering me. How we limit ourselves because of subjectivity and perception. Why am I not moving forward? Oh, yeah, because I think this outer thing is a big bad monster that's always beating me down, when it's really just shrinking because it feels scary to face certain things. And then realizing I'm safe within myself no matter what's happening externally. Jupiter in Leo could take everything we nurtured during the Cancer cycle and finally expand it outward. It's the energy of rehearsal being over and the show starting, because Leo is the characters we choose to play. And Cancer, Jupiter in Cancer kind of felt like a rehearsal of like inhabiting certain roles. Like, what does it feel like to be in different roles that we're playing in people's lives? Metaphorically, obviously. With Leo, it's like we get to choose who we want to express as, more so, more than Jupiter in Cancer, where everything was, you can't expand until you feel this, you face this kind of thing. Interestingly, I feel as though Jupiter in Cancer acts a little bit like Saturn in that way. Okay. If Cancer represents who we are without the drama of pretension and self-editing, because how can you edit yourself when you're facing yourself and you have to feel everything the way that it really is? It's like the opposite of self-editing if you're being emotionally honest with yourself and not shutting down and going numb, you know? I think that's what I meant. Leo is the opposite of this. It asks us to get really into the role we want to play. Jupiter in Leo is a huge sense of regality, nobility, self-worth in a personality sense. The fixed signs may all be connected to self-worth in some way. With Taurus, it connects to self-worth in a way that involves refinement and the stability of beauty and physical pleasures. Aquarius is self-worth in terms of connecting with systems larger than the self, being able to realize we're big enough to apply in a more universal sense to other people's landscapes. Leo is self-worth contained within the idea or concept of mine and what we are creating. Leo is taking Cancer's emotional downloads and sensitivities and filtering it through our sense of expression. So everything we learned how to feel, we get to sculpt it. We've been given the materials to do that. There's more control over our expansion, perhaps. So maybe a lot of us will feel way more in control of how we're choosing to grow and expand. I don't know if I want to read any more notes. This is kind of interesting. Maybe you'll think so. I don't know. Thanks for being here. If you're still here, wow. Okay. This is a lot of how we're rippling outward from our core self. Leo is the heart within, excitement about the self. This is a cycle for being excited about ourselves and indulging certain areas of expanding our expressions of creativity. Like, where do we wait for permission when we create? You don't gotta wait for permission. Jupiter is giving you the golden ticket, like in Willy Wonka. Okay. This could be an experimental time because Jupiter always pushes boundaries. Jupiter wants to know what the boundaries of selfhood are in a more meaningful way. Where do we end and others begin? Where do our experiences of others end and we begin? The boundary of self could get expanded in a liberating way. This is a cycle for truly extracting the value of personal experience over ideas of experiences that are held through dogma or preaching, because Jupiter is the preacher. So, similar to what I got in my reading on the cradle in the sky with Pluto and Jupiter, Jupiter in Leo is I can only find the truth through being myself. You can listen to people preach all day on certain things when it comes to Jupiter and Leo, but until you insert yourself, your core self, into certain truths, you won't know the truth. Does that make sense? Like the sermon is being yourself. So I don't know if we'll feel fed up with people preaching more than usual because it's like, you don't know me. Okay, don't tell me what you think the truth is, sort of thing. A lot of freedom in the face of ideology. Jupiter and Leo. Okay. This I want to read all of this. I don't know. Maybe you could leave a comment if you mind the reading of the notes. Does it seem robotic? Is it better when I don't read the notes too much? I don't know. This is all my writing, and I spend a lot of time writing this stuff. And reading the notes really keeps me on track because I don't know. I feel like a lot of this is channeled. And when I channel stuff, I forget what I wrote because it's almost coming from the woo woo place in my brain. How might this cycle influence our sense of faith? I think Jupiter in Cancer influenced our faith through the ability to turn away from lack of safety in the world. A lot of us probably learned our innate kernels of internal security and shelter. Jupiter in Leo affects faith more externally. This feels like developing faith through the idea of learning how to play different roles. This is faith in the self in a different way. Jupiter in Cancer is faith in the deeper self as refuge from the harsh outer world. Jupiter in Leo is faith in the self in terms of how we can create from the core self and see it emanate in the outer world, melting those harsh barriers. It's like we learned how to navigate life's harshness by retreating from it and nourishing our wounds while Jupiter was in Cancer. Now we can see our inner light, how our inner light affects the harsh reality we're retreating from. So, no more retreating. Now we can go out with our light that we've cultivated and watch it change realities. What it was, what the download was when I was writing this. That's what I felt. Like realizing the power of the light we've been cultivating and watching it transform the outer world. So cool. Now we can see how our inner light affects the harsh reality we were retreating from. How can our individual power change the world if we believe in it enough? If we choose to see our ability to experience meaning in the most personal sense, we may witness miracles. Jupiter does represent blessings and miracles. This feels like operating from that, but in ways that are incredibly personal that perhaps no one can help us with. So it's like independence in a spiritual sense as well. So, another facet of this I want to talk about. I mean, I was going to leave it out. I'm weary of talking about this sort of stuff, especially connected to spiritual stuff. The whole idea of Jupiter in Leo connecting to romance. Leo is the one of the most romantic signs, and it's all about childlike love. It's love before it gets burdened by life. That's Leo. It's like a child who is able to love so much straight from the heart with complete warmth before they're rejected in certain ways. It's like love before rejection. So I don't know if this is accurate, but Jupiter in Leo, it's like faith being restored in love. And it's super cheesy. And I don't know if I believe in that kind of love anymore. I believe in love and I'm in a very loving relationship. But as far as the love people think they're seeking at times, I don't know if it's reachable. Like, it's just like super personal stuff that I'm sharing. What am I doing? But it's that kind of love, Jupiter and Leo. Like, I'm going to love like I did when I was a teenager. It's like the teenager type of love. So I don't know if we'll witness, while Jupiter is in Leo, this facet of love returning to us in some way. It could pop up in all kinds of areas in our life where we feel reinvigorated in our ability to love, our ability to see the best in whatever it is we love. So cheesy. Okay. um yeah, is that everything? Okay, I want to read this last part and then I'll get to the cards. Jupiter in Leo connected to romance, dot, dot, dot. This is what I'm writing, okay? Leo connects to romance in a way that makes love exciting. It's childlike love, which is why it's related to the fifth house. Jupiter in Leo can stir our inner reserves when it comes to having more warmth and love to offer. So shedding some of that bitterness that came from previous cycles, maybe even especially Jupiter in Capricorn. Why am I singling that out? I don't know. I wasn't there talking about it at the time. I wasn't paying attention to astrology when Jupiter was in Capricorn, so it's weird that that popped in. Anyway, let's see. Jupiter could end up helping to expand these reserves, the reserves of love that we have to give without bitterness. It's like the child that endlessly recovers from disappointment, refusing to grow bitter. Leo is deeply connected to childlike wonder and enthusiasm, and the same vibe connects us to some experiences of love. We may have some of our faith in love restored somehow during this Jupiter in Leo transit, as outlandish as that seems. Jupiter has a way, much like a child himself, of wanting us to push past our bitterness and negativity. In this way, we could have our faith restored and passion as a whole. I hope so. Anything we harbor light and hope for that gives us a sense of wonder, Jupiter is in on it. Okay. I might do a part 2 of this, talking about the last time Jupiter was in Leo, but it's just, I want to stay in this vibe of just focusing on kind of the spiritual stuff. This part 2 would be more of a linear, like, here's what was going on, and this event was totally Jupiter and Leo, but I want to stay in this thread. I'm ready to pull cards. What cards though? What deck do I have that talks like Jupiter and Leo? I don't know. I think I'm just going to stick with this. This seems to be my deck for today. I used it earlier for the full moon reading. Tarot card. I kid you not, that's all it says. And for the byline, tarot cards with meanings on them. That's all it says. Okay, I have 6 questions. Here's the deal with this, okay? The transit talk that I just finished with Jupiter and Leo, that's like, it's transient. The transits are transient. These readings are timeless. You could pop this on at any time. Whoever finds this, it's for you. You could pop this on at any time, and the intention is for the readings to stay relevant long after the transit ends. I'm going to focus here. Okay, I'm going to read the questions and then I'll shuffle. Question 1. These are all inspired by the Jupiter and Leo transit. That's how I do this. I write the report and then I sit with the downloads that I get, and the questions arise from what I'm getting from the planets. So, question 1, how am I becoming more visible? Question 2, in what ways is my individuality ready for a new cycle? Question 3, how can I have more faith in myself? Question 4, what gift does my individual experience offer to the world? Question 5, how could romance key into my highest well-being? That would be like, what's the healthiest expression of romance for me to reflect on? Question 6, what is my inner child trying to build for me now? So those are the questions. I'm going to shuffle. Okay, here we go. Obelisk. Let me use my tiny green one. Card 1, how are you becoming more visible? King of Wands. You straight up get the Leo card instantly. Being visible for your vision, what you want to do. You're getting possibly restless in a good way. I don't know if you feel as though you're building energy, like vitality, being ready to move into, I don't want to say impulsivity, but being ready to deal with consequences when it comes to going after what you want. Like maybe if you've waited to take the practical route for a long time and it yielded pretty much the same results as though, like the same results as somebody else who would be impulsive. I feel this coming in where it's like you wanting to make the practical move all the time or semi-practical. I don't want to say you're a stickler. That's not really what I'm getting. But you've been responsible or reserved in certain ways and you watch other people taking risks and you're like, why am I doing it the slow way? There's something here about being willing to face consequences. It's very king-like. It's very Leo. This is the energy of, if I have to burn up in the fire to cleanse stagnancy, so be it. So being visible in a very visible way. You might be building up to this, I don't know, but it says natural leader. So being recognized for visionary abilities. Cool. Second question. In what ways is your individuality ready for a new cycle? So as you, just you, not what other people want from you, not what other people are doing, how is your individuality ready for a new cycle? We have Hermit reversed. Wow. Doing it your way. Casting off fear. Casting off things you thought you learned from your mistakes. It's like transforming how you learn from mistakes. I'm feeling like in the past, perhaps you learned from mistakes by sitting down. Like, I'm feeling as though when you've stood up in the past and encountered failure, your instinct was to sit back down again. Like I see you in a room, not that I can literally see you, that would be weird. But I'm seeing someone in a room, in a group of people, watching these people go after what they want. And it's your turn to stand up. You stand up, and it doesn't work like it does for the others. You encounter a mistake and you just sit right back down again. That's what I'm feeling. So it's transforming this King of Wands and being ready to believe in a new outcome attached to mistakes. Like maybe that mistake didn't mean what I told myself it means. There's a reevaluation, there's an ability to adjust, major ability to bend and be more flexible and adjust to certain things. Question 3, how can you have more faith in yourself? 2 of Swords reversed. Interesting. Trusting in protection. Trusting decision-making skills, transforming how you make a decision. It goes back to this King of Wands. This is being ready to make new decisions, taking less time to deliberate. It's like speeding up the process of making decisions. Okay. And it says for keywords, lesser of two evils, no right choice. Oh, being more flexible in the face of feeling like you did something wrong. There's that hermit energy again. Recognizing that wrong turns is simply walking a path. Yeah, so speeding up the process of making decisions, spending less time deliberating, judging, comparing. That's toning down the need to make comparisons is in here as well. Question 4, what gift does my individual experience offer to the world? So what can only you offer through having your experience of self? Okay, we got 5 of Cups. Wow, being real. This feels like being real about disappointment. That's interesting. It's being really open about disappointment somehow. I might need a clarifier, but this is like emotional bluntness. Like, yeah, I did this and it didn't work out. So what? I'm going to shrug it off. Teaching other people how to do that somehow. I will need to clarify. Ooh, question 5. How could romance key into my highest well-being? So what is possibly, it's not to tell you, this is 100% accurate. It's just a reflection. So what possibly, how could romance possibly key into your highest well-being? We have 7 of Cups. There's a lot of getting real here. 7 of Cups reversed. I feel as though whoever's watching this, it's for you. I feel as though you're getting ready to go out into the world like, yep, this is how I feel. These are the choices I've made. Here's how I feel about it. It's not that big a deal. It's okay. You can come back from whatever. There's this feeling of being able to come back from whatever that maybe wasn't there before, and that goes back to having faith in new cycles, having faith in being able to follow something through, and if it's disappointing, knowing you can come back from it. I think that's this energy the whole time. And something about connecting to people romantically in that sense, where It's like finding a partner who's able to see it the way you do, who can be like, yep, I was disappointed in that, but it's all right, just shrug it off. So having a partner that doesn't get bogged down in disappointment would be a good fit. I will clarify all these. Question 6. What is my inner child trying to build for me now? The inner you that's not blunted by whatever has happened in the long road of life. Queen of Wands reversed. Deconstructing yourself as a character. Wow, that's amazing. It goes right back to this energy of like, get real, being completely blunt about how you feel, being completely blunt, owning up to being disappointed. I'm feeling this energy of hiding disappointment. That's pretty strong through this whole pull so far. Feeling the need to hide disappointments, like, oh no, this was great, I'm so happy I did this. There's a transformation here of no longer being in denial about disappointment, finding somebody who can live in that with you, who doesn't hide their head in the sand. It's pretty amazing. And Queen of Wands reversed is deconstructing the character, because I always see the Queen of Wands as like a theater actress, but it's reversed. So seriously, being able to be like, F it, I'm disappointed. What are you gonna do? You know, I want to clarify some of these, maybe all of them. I don't know if I want to use this deck. It's kind of poking out to me now. It's called the Real Life Tarot. Okay. Yep, getting real here. If this goes wrong, I'll switch to a different deck. Like sometimes I'll use a deck for clarifying and I get blocked. I'm like, dang it, I'm not getting anything. It's always my biggest fear making these videos, that I'm just gonna get blocked and I'll have to be like, just kidding, never mind. Okay, I'm gonna clarify. All right, starting with this badass King of Wands. This is the Real Life Tarot. It's kind of funny. It's almost like a joke of a deck, but I still use it. Okay, King of Wands clarified by the LARPer. This is just talking about roles. Literally talking about deconstructing the character. There's a cycle that's beginning at the end. It goes right with Jupiter and Leo, where you've tried on different roles. You're like a chameleon in some ways. It's building your identity up so that you can face all kinds of scary stuff in a way. How do I explain this? It's like you have visionary tendencies, which is really cool. That's the positive here. Having a visionary tendency, you feel as though you're meant for something great. You probably are. So you have a vision of what you want to accomplish, and you can see really clearly how you're supposed to accomplish it, like what traits you're supposed to have if you're going to accomplish whatever you're envisioning. So there's this ability to build yourself the traits necessary to achieve things. But there's something here about doing this in a more comfortable way in the future. So the LARPer is transforming. So it's such a funny card. Is he wearing knee pads? Can you tell me if he's wearing knee pads? I don't know. It's hilarious. Okay. Then we have a cannabis tree. Cultivating something that could change people's minds, altered states. Wow, you have like almost a hypnotic quality, perhaps. Doesn't feel fully. I don't know how to explain this. Cultivating something for people to consume that helps them feel differently, whether that be ideas. Yeah, I don't know for sure. What's the next one? The deleter. Wow. Okay. Might be feeling a little blocked here, but this cannabis plant really threw me off. It gave me something, but it's hard to put it into words, you know? Okay. This is basically you creating something that could help alter people's states in some way. Okay. Hermit reversed, clarified by the ghost. Feeling like you're here, but you're not. You've accomplished things, but they still feel hollow. This is transforming. Okay, then we have browse, searching. Seriously, it's like searching for a long time on a very long path, feeling as though you're able to accomplish things and turn yourself into who you would have to be, you know, if you wanted to accomplish certain things. And it's this feeling of like being between worlds with that. Like, okay, this is almost how I envisioned it. It's almost what I was searching for, but it's not fully there. Um, and then we have, oh, it's a chain. It's almost this energy of like, I need to keep searching. I need to keep turning myself into who I need to be in order to make this happen. So that is what is changing now. Because this, remember, this answers, all of this is answering the question, in what ways is my individuality ready for a new cycle? All right. You probably still have this ability to build yourself into who you need to be to get stuff done. But I'm feeling like it's time for a new cycle where it's more comfortable. It doesn't feel like you have to sacrifice so much. And that's maybe utilizing what you've learned along the way of this long road as the hermit. Okay, Two of Swords reversed, clarified by, oh, this is the one, how can I have more faith in myself? Okay, clarified by a bunch of babies congregated in a room. I know. I don't know what this is. We'll keep going. This is the group though. Here's what I'm getting from this. Recognizing everybody is a baby in some way. Like you look around and you expect to take people seriously, but they're a bunch of babies. Okay, everybody's a baby at something. Everybody just wants shiny toys to play with. That's some sort of liberating perspective, perhaps. It's like that cliche. Just picture everybody in their underwear. It's along that line. So recognizing the newness and the inexperienced parts of everybody else, but not in a way where you're comparing yourself. It's more like understanding to take the pressure off yourself Everybody's a baby. Okay. Then we have the conspiracy. Yeah, it's literally like everybody around me is a baby. That's connecting dots through this. It's really, I know it sounds weird. It's kind of comical. But the conspiracy theorist, has trust issues. So what else we got? The blender. Yeah, blender? Like realizing everybody is really just putting crap in a blender and seeing what comes out. And there's not a real science to it. That's what this is, I think. This harkens back to Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the Pepe Silvio, which I feel like that scene when I read cards sometimes. But this is understanding as a way to have more faith in yourself that everybody is just experimenting because they don't know what to do in some way. That gives you the freedom to put your own crap in the blender and turn it on and see what sludge comes out, you know? Okay. Card 4, right? Yeah. Did I do 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Okay. I can't count, by the way. Yeah. So, what gift does my individual experience offer to the world? Clarified. Remember the time to get real? You can admit when you're disappointed. It helps others be honest about how they feel. Okay. Clarified by an unplugged video game controller. Like stop playing. Just unplug the controller. Okay. There is something here that's not a game anymore. Like there is some line of seriousness that's coming through beyond whatever the heck this adventure was. There is something here about like it's time to get real. So you can see the controller. It's like wrapped up in a nice, organized way. The fidget spinner. Wow. That is a lot about coping. So, joking and um, making things lighter than they really feel. That's the game that's ending. Being able to realize, even when it gets heavy, to where there's that moment of, dang, this isn't a joke anymore, you can come back from that and go back to lightheartedness. It's like once you accept that you're disappointed in something, you can go back to feeling hopeful again, you know? Okay. The comfort pet, being others' comfort pets. Um, that's interesting. What do I think of a comfort pet? I think of like having a companion. There's like fidgetiness and anxiety here. I hope you don't feel anxious. Um, yeah, helping people who are anxious. Your individual experience, you're like helping people through anxiety in some way. Showing them that they can face your fears while you face your fears. Okay. 2 more, and then I gotta end this. I'm getting a little zapped as well. I'm sorry if I seem like I'm flickering, like the insights are coming in, but they're starting to get flickery. We have the 7 of Cups reversed, which is answering the question about romance. What is that clarified by? TV dinner. That's so funny. That's like finding somebody who would eat a TV dinner with you and be happy. Like this person is able to face circumstances in life that are not that glamorous. And It's again that energy of get real, come back from disappointment. Okay, we have the Magician. Again, it's like, yeah, things aren't that great now, but they will be great. There's something about being able to adapt to different levels of well-being. So some days, some phases in your life, you're eating the TV dinners and there's not much to admire, or there's not much to talk up, seemingly. I mean, there's always stuff to talk up, but this is like being able to be in environments where you wish things were better, being able to be like, yeah, I wish things were better, but they'll be great someday. Finding someone who's able to do this. And then food again. What? In the garbage disposal. Not being afraid of scarcity. Something about that. Again, it just keeps coming through. Being able to accept when things aren't so glamorous and enjoying life despite. All right, last one. What is your inner child trying to build for you now? We had this of deconstructing the ego in a certain way. Okay. We have the student loan card. Student loan. Cashing a check for your potential. Wow. That's what your inner child is asking for, perhaps. Um, invest into your potential. It's very cliche, but then we have calm. Yeah, goes away from this anxiety. Your inner child is leading you away from anxiety when it comes to your potential. Like perhaps you feel as though a lot of people in your life have waited to see what or who you would become that was great, and you're afraid of not being able to pay them back. This is something that could shift, perhaps. And the inner child is like, I don't have to measure up. You don't have to measure me. Feel calm, a sense of calm about the idea of needing to give back or pay people back. It's interesting. Last one. Puddle in the road. You're gonna splash your tires in the puddle, but you'll just keep moving, kind of energy. Okay. Beautiful. I'm gonna end this here. I'm very tired now. That was long. That was a lot of talking. Hopefully this resonates with someone. I don't know, but if you're still here, that's pretty dope. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I will be back with more videos because this is really fun. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.